Funny. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Catherine Perry, and today I am going to share with you some things that you should not do on Instagram. So when it comes to social media, it can be a little tricky. Some people will follow certain people and they'll think that's the way it's supposed to be, and then others will follow other. Like, it's just a whole big game where you're trying to constantly figure out what you should be doing and how to do it the right way. And I've shared with you in some of my previous videos, which I will link below and I'll tag above, of the way you should be actually running your Instagram and doing things on social media. So today I am going to get into it. I'm going to share with you some things that you should not be doing. And these things are quite common, and you know what, if you've done them in the past, it's not a big deal. It happens. But just try to improve by not doing these. Be mindful of what you're posting, what you're doing, just your actions that you take on Instagram and social media. Because like I've said in the past, you want to be real and you just want to be genuine and not be one of those people that are just spammy. So we're going to get into it right now. But before we get into it, don't forget to like and subscribe below. That way you can keep up to date with my videos. And I do a lot of tips and tricks and just advice on social media for businesses. And by hitting the bell below also, it'll give you a notification of when my videos come up in your feed. So let's get into this. So the first thing that you should not do is overuse hashtags. Overusing hashtags is not cool. We don't want to be spammy, and we don't want to look like we're just, word splurging out on, or hashtag splurging out onto the page. You need to be able to think of mindful hashtags. And also remember that people just think that it's just so overwhelming when they see that many hashtags on your post. Also, overusing hashtags will be seen in the algorithm for Instagram. And I think this goes for every social media platform, but if you overuse hashtags or the same hashtags more than once and you post daily, Instagram's gonna flag that and they'll see that as spam. So that's why you should have at least 4 groups of different hashtags that you can use throughout the week, so that you're not overusing it and not constantly spamming that hashtag. So I have a tip for you: research your hashtags. By doing this, you're not only making a mindful, conscious, sitting down and thinking about what your post is going to be about. By having 3 or 4 groups on hand of hashtags that you can use and just copy and paste, it's easy for you. It's not as stressful, for one, and it's also a great way to beat the algorithm in a sense. So the second thing that you should not do is don't spam people to buy your products. Don't be constantly DMing them. If they're new followers, you don't want to DM them and say, hey, look at my new product, you want to buy it? This is super spammy and it's super annoying, and people will not follow you. Here's a tip for you. Basically, all it comes down to is build a relationship with these potential followers. Don't spam them. Take time and actually build that relationship, and over time, hopefully they will need the product and others will need it. This is, like I said in my previous posts and my videos, this is a marathon, not a sprint. The third thing that you should not do is don't be fake. Being a fake person on Instagram and all your social media platforms will get you nowhere. It actually will stress you out, for one, constantly trying to keep up with it when you know your life isn't like that. And also, if you're found out, people will just not trust you. It's just one of those things where you just won't gain the trust from people, and it'll take time to build that trust back up if you have a business. So try and be real the first time. So a tip for you is to instead show your true self, and people will fall in love with who you are. You will find your following, you'll find your tribe, and it'll gradually just come for you. Fourth thing is, don't buy followers. Buying followers will get you nowhere. It's one of those things of being real. Like I said before, being real on social media is super important. Buying fake followers is not going to get you anywhere. It's temporary, and it won't get you any farther. And I think it's going to stress you out because you've less money in your pocket and you're buying a thing that is not real. So don't do that. It's just not a cool thing to do. So instead, like I've said before, build meaningful relationships, and over time you'll gain the followers that you want. You'll have more of an interaction on your social media platforms. And if you want to, you should share your Instagram to other social media platforms so that, you know, people actually know that you have it, for one, and potentially it will grow from there. The fifth thing that you should not do is don't follow and then unfollow. This is also very discouraging to others because they're constantly trying to figure out like what's going on with their social media platform. So just don't do it. It's just not a nice thing to do. And I feel a little hurt by it, but I move on from it. It's not a big deal to me. But for others, who knows what they're going through, so stop doing it. If you're constantly doing this, people will eventually block you. I've done this in the past because I've had people follow me, unfollow me, follow me, unfollow me. And then I got to the point where it's annoying me, so I blocked them. And then your product gets no further out there, right? So don't do that. It's just one of those things that's just not good for anyone. So the sixth thing is don't post random photos that just don't make sense or go with your brand, or that just have no purpose to be there. So if you're into fashion and then all of a sudden you're posting about this random tech gadget that it's just not flowing, if that's what your page is about, that's cool. But if it's not, it's unrelated, totally unrelated and out there, then just don't do it. And then number 7, don't repost things without asking others. This is a big copyright thing, so don't repost things or posts that people don't want you to repost. You need to ask them first. This is huge because you're stealing right now. So if you want to post about a new camera and someone has come out with it, you ask them if you can repost that specific post onto your page. And then that way you're collaborating in a sense. But just taking that fake picture and not tagging them and all that, don't do it. So that is today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. These are things that you should not do on Instagram, and I really hope that you take them and, you know, kind of think about what you've been doing with your Instagram, especially when it comes to a business. You don't want to deter people from seeing your products and what your brand is all about. So make sure that you sit down and actually think about what you're doing and why you're doing it. Then you will get followers coming in like that. It takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. And you all know this if you've watched my previous videos, but it will not happen overnight. You just gotta take your time, enjoy the process, and not get overwhelmed about it. So I want you to comment below one thing that you've seen in Instagram or social media in general that annoys you the most. So comment below. So I would love to hear. That way we can maybe add to this video eventually and make it, you know, helpful for others as well. Like I said, guys, that is it for today, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and as always, guys, don't forget to create adventure and live to inspire. Have a good one.